Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to the White House.
Welcome to this Thanksgiving edition of West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and beyond. This week, the president traveled to the West Coast for a 3-day, 3-city swing, sat down for an interview with Barbara Walters, met with student entrepreneurs, held a video conference with Peace Corps volunteers, and announced a breakthrough in diplomatic talks with Iran. That's November 22nd to November 28th, or Kindness covers all of my political beliefs.
And when I think about what I'm fighting for, what gets me up every single day, that captures it just about as much as anything.
On Friday morning, the President and First Lady sat down for their 5th and final interview with Barbara Walters before her retirement next year. They covered a wide range of issues, including the President's second term, family life, and the First Lady's new education initiative. The President then met with 5 extremely impressive students from NIFTY, otherwise known as the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, who created inventive business models based on needs they saw around them.
We're really proud of what you've done, and I know your parents must be very proud also.
Then, at the time of President Kennedy's passing 50 years ago to the day, the President observed a moment of silence. He then participated in a video conference with Peace Corps volunteers in Tanzania to honor one of President Kennedy's greatest legacies.
Somebody.
Later that day, the President invited King Mohammed VI of Morocco into the Oval Office for a bilateral meeting. On Saturday, the President made a statement about a historic diplomatic breakthrough to halt progress on Iran's nuclear program.
Today, that diplomacy opened up a new path toward a world that is more secure. A future in which we can verify that Iran's nuclear program is peaceful and that it cannot build a nuclear weapon.
On Sunday, the President embarked on a 3-day trip to the West Coast, first to Seattle and then on to San Francisco, where he stopped at the Betty Ong Chinese Recreation Center. As he spoke there on the urgent need for Congress to take up the bill on immigration reform, one of the attendees shouted out his frustration about the problems with the current system. This is how the President responded.
I respect the passion of these young people. And what I'm proposing is the harder path, which is to use our democratic processes to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve. But it won't be as easy as just shouting. It requires us lobbying and getting it done.
Then it was on to Los Angeles, where the President took a memorable tour of DreamWorks, where he started off with a demonstration of the way their state-of-the-art motion capture system is used to make those animated creatures just so lifelike. Then it was on to the voice recording studio, where he got a look behind the scenes at the way the voiceover portion of the animated movie sausage is made, or at least heard. Unfortunately, your narrator didn't get the hoped-for invitation for an audition. Then he spoke to DreamWorks employees about the important role that innovative companies like theirs has in a strong and thriving American economy. Back at the White House, there was an announcement about the first ever White House-sponsored student film festival.
Change the world. When it gets here, we'll turn it up loud. Woo!
On Wednesday, back at the ranch, the President participated in the 66th annual National Thanksgiving Turkey presentation, giving a much-welcomed pardon to popcorn. Or is that caramel? That afternoon, the Obama family participated in their own holiday tradition, a community service project at a local food bank. And with that, we here at West Wing Week wish you all a happy, healthy, and peaceful Thanksgiving. But before we go, a little nugget.
Please excuse Sarah.
This is kind of like a presidential pardon, right?
It is. She was with me. Now, the main thing is, though, you can only use this once, right? I don't want to hear that, like, once a week you're like, okay?